Today, we are going to talk about something really powerful. This idea of finding the shore of stillness in a world that just never, ever stops. We're going to explore what it really means to reclaim your right to rest, especially when you feel like you're constantly running just to keep your head above water. So let me just ask you something right off the bat. Do you ever feel like you're on a treadmill? You're running as fast as you can, you're sweating, you're exhausted, but you're not actually getting anywhere? That feeling, that constant motion that just leads to more motion? Yeah, that's what we're going to get into today. And this is why we feel that way. We've all kind of absorbed this message from our culture that our value, our worth, is directly tied to our movement. That if you're not hustling, if you're not producing, well, there must be something wrong with you, right? A flaw in your design. But what if that entire belief is just wrong? Let's start by really understanding the trap we're all in. Okay, so first up, we need to understand the machine we're kind of stuck in. Let's call it the clockwork trap. It's this idea that we're all constantly running on this treadmill, and it's powered by this kind of hollow ache. We're always chasing a feeling of peace that seems like it's just around the corner, but we never quite get there. So here's the key metaphor to really get your head around: the treadmill of the clock. We think time is just this thing that's passing us by, but in reality, our own frantic running is what's actually powering the machine. I mean, we are literally powering a prison that we built ourselves, mistaking all this endless activity for a life that's actually well lived. So, what happens when you finally find the courage to just stop? This is the big turning point. And it's not about giving up, not at all. It's about consciously choosing to step off the machine and finally understand what your body has been begging you for all along. And this leads us to a really fascinating biological concept called extragestation. Now, this isn't just for babies. It's a lifelong need. It's a deep biological need for a state of safety, where our nervous system can finally truly exhale. It's the only environment where we don't have to constantly work to make the world work. And that allows our brains to actually heal and develop. This isn't a luxury, you guys. It's a biological necessity. So the most important thing to hear is this: your need for rest is not a flaw. You are not damaged goods. You're a living thing. And just like a tree, you can't possibly produce fruits if you don't give yourself time to grow deep, nourishing roots in the soil of stillness. All right, so stepping off the treadmill is one thing, but that internal battle, that's often so much harder. So why is it so incredibly difficult to truly let go, even when we are bone tired and completely exhausted? I mean, this question really gets to the heart of it for so many of us, right? You're physically tired, you're lying in bed, but your mind is still running a marathon. Why? What is actually going on in those moments? Well, the answer, more often than not, is about control. When you can't sleep, it's usually a sign that you are gripping the world way too tightly. You're trying to manage outcomes you have no power over, carrying this massive burden that you were never ever meant to carry all by yourself. Sleep in its purest form is really an act of trust. It's an act of letting go. Okay, and this brings us to a huge paradox. Our culture screams at us to sacrifice rest for the sake of productivity, but the real truth, the biological and psychological truth, is the complete opposite. I want you to think about it this way. We're always chasing the fruit, the productivity, the work, the achievements, but we're completely neglecting the root system that makes all of that possible in the first place. Rest is the root of productivity. Play is the root of good work. And stillness is the root of any true achievement. If you don't have the root, the fruit is eventually going to wither away. It's that simple. Okay, so we get the problem, we get the principle, but how do we actually start to, grow these roots in our day-to-day lives? Let's get really practical here with 3 specific acts of repair. And it's really important to think of these not as more things for your to-do list, but as acts of repair. You are actively mending your nervous system. You're reclaiming your foundation. So let's look at 3 ways we can start doing this. Okay, first up, the pre-bed window. Just for 20 minutes before you go to sleep, drop the oars. That means no screens, no work, no problem solving. Just allow your whole system to power down. Second, the brain dump. Get a piece of paper and write down every single what if that's spinning around in your head. Just naming your worries gets them out of your mind so you don't have to carry them into the night. And third, weekly play. Schedule something, anything, that has 0 economic utility, an activity you do just for the pure joy of it. This is so essential for building a resilient nervous system. As we wrap up, I really want to leave you with this fundamental truth. Let this one sink in. Your right to be still, to rest, to simply be, it's not a reward. It's not something you earn after you've been productive enough. It is your birthright. Look, the clock of the world is going to keep on ticking. That's a given, but it doesn't have to be your prison. Your peace isn't found at the finish line of some endless race. Your peace is the sunrise. It's a new beginning that's available every single day you choose to stop running and just be still. So, what if you chose to see that sunrise tomorrow?